want to say this and I got to go. I love y'all. Keep supporting comedy. And I want to thank each and every one of you black guys for dating these ugly-ass white chicks and taking them off our hands. Real business. My name's Ray Lapowski. I'm out of here.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to part 2 of the Disney versus BET breakdown. For this one, we're going to continue the concept and we're going to go ahead and move into discussing the BET founder, Robert L. Johnson. Now, I wasn't going to do a full breakdown on him because I assumed that he probably had the typical black man plight in America where he just came from, poverty and whatever the case may be. Turns out that's not the case. He had a pretty solid, he was born in 1946. And to be honest, we were starting to end we were getting to the near World War II, if it wasn't ended already. And World War II did amazing things for America's economy. It pretty much fast tracked us out of the Depression from the decade before. So, he basically kind of grew up in the aftermath. He was born in the aftermath of World War II, where even though there was discrimination in the United States, a lot of black families were actually middle class and were doing really well. A lot of that was credited to the war, right? World War II. So I'm going to read this real quickly because it's important. This man came from pretty much a normal background, discrimination aside. So it says Johnson was born in 1946 in Hickory, Mississippi. So I'm pretty sure there was a lot of racism. The 9th out of 10 children to Edna and Archie Johnson. His mother was a school teacher. His father was a farmer. His parents moved the family to Freeport, Illinois when he was a child. He was an honor student in high school. He graduated from the University of Illinois in 1968. He received his bachelor's. And while at the University of Illinois, he became a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. Ugh, God, I don't like those people. I don't really like all fraternities in the Divine Nine. I have a slight respect for the Alphas and a slight respect for the Sigmas. Slight, very slight. From what I can remember, they seem to be the more, I actually don't have respect for them at all, y'all. I take it back. I'm a divested black woman. Multiracial black woman. So I actually don't care. And I really don't care. But back in the day, when I was in Blackistan, I did have a slight respect for the Sigmas and the Alphas from what I remember. I couldn't stand, and I think the Iotas, I may have met one. He was a gay black dude. Otherwise, they weren't really prevalent in my in the where I went to school, their chapter. So I don't really know much about them, but one thing I know for sure is I cannot stand the Qs. And I cannot stand the Kappas. The Kappa Alpha Psis, can't stand them. The Omega Psi Phis, cannot stand them. Very terrible. Definitely the bottom barrel black men, for sure, join those two sectors of the Divine Nine, if not all of the sectors of the Divine Nine. But anyways, he received a master's degree in public affairs from Woodrow Wilson School at Princeton University in 72. Very solid. Very, 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 very solid. But he's still an anchor. He's still an anchor. So that gets us to the point of the full breakdown of basically the fact that black men, particularly this black man, had an opportunity to do great things for black children by way of BET, the cable channel he founded. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're just going to jump right in, y'all. Starting back into, we're going to be comparing Disney to the founder of BET. So definitely check out part 1, y'all, so that you can get the full background. I'll link part 1 below as well. All right. Now, let's compare that to Mr. Robert L. Johnson. For those of y'all who don't know, y'all, Robert L. Johnson, he's the founder of BET. So let's read this, and we can get the background here, and then we can, give our thoughts on this comparison, basically what he decided to do. So after stepping down as a lobbyist for the cable industry, Freeport, Illinois native Robert L. Johnson decided to launch his own cable television network. Johnson would soon acquire a loan for $15,000 and a $500,000 investment from media executive John Malone, a white dude, to start the network. The network, which was named Black Entertainment Television, launched on January 25th, 1980. Cheryl D. Miller designed the logo that would represent the network, which featured a star to symbolize Black star power. Initially broadcasting for 2 hours a week as a block of programming on the Madison Square Garden Sports Network, which would change their name to USA Network 3 months after BET launched. The network's lineup composed of music videos and reruns of popular Black sitcoms. It would not be until 1983 that BET became a full-fledged entity, independent of any other channel or programming block. Though for years it continued to share channel space with other cable networks on local cable systems due to lack of channel room for their 24-hour schedule until the time of digital cable allowed for larger channel capacity. In some markets, the network would not arrive at all until as late as the early 2010s, and Viacom considered it compulsory to retransmission in retransmission consent negotiations to carry the BET networks with Viacom networks due to some providers claiming that there was an overall lack of demand for the channel, or there was a low to non-consistent Black population within their service area. BET launched a news program, BET News, in 1988 with Ed Gordon as its anchor. Gordon later hosted other programs and specials on BET, such as Black Men Speak Out, The Aftermath, related to the 1992 LA riots, and a reoccurring interview show, Conversations with Ed Gordon. In 1996, the talk show BET Tonight debuted with Tavis Smiley as host. In 2001, Ed Gordon replaced Smiley as host of the program. In 1991, the network became the first Black-controlled TV company to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange, y'all. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. Starting the late 1990s, the network expanded with the launch of digital cable networks, what is now the general interest channel BET Her, originally launched as BET on Jazz, later known as BTE Jazz and BETJ, created originally to showcase jazz music-related programming, especially that of African American jazz musicians. In 1998, it entered into a joint venture with Starz, then owned by John Malone's, the guy who invested Liberty Media. to launch a multiplex service of premium channel featuring African American oriented movies called BET Movie Stars, later named Black Stars after BET dropped out of the venture following its purchase by Viacom, then owner of Stars rival Showtime, and now known as Stars in Black. In 2001, the network lost its status as a Black-owned business when it was bought by media Viacom. Basically, it was bought by Viacom. So, yeah, I'm a little embarrassed by how I'm reading this. But, yeah, I'm doing my best here. I think we can stop. Oh, no. We'll read to the end and then we'll stop there. In 2005, Johnson retired from the network, turning over his titles of president and CEO to former BET vice president Deborah L. Lee. Now, I know that Deborah L. Lee is known as a Black woman, but she's biracial. I'm curious about his personal life. Oh, look at that. He's a two-wife man. He had this long marriage to Miss Sheila Johnson that for some reason ended. I can think of a thousand reasons why. Now, I actually may need to do a separate video on Robert Johnson in itself because this is a high-earning Dusty. So, it's like, let me get this straight. You had an opportunity to offer your people something that basically counters the beauty standards. Let's keep the shit all the way funky, y'all. Disney helped perpetuate the beauty standard of being white women. They did. They did. Snow White. Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all? They help perpetuate the beauty standard. And yeah, it happened like what? Disney did his thing in the 30s and he did his thing in the 80s. So it took 50 years for Black people to have the opportunity to start changing the narrative. And it sounded like they had some positive stuff, but not enough positive stuff. More crying and jazz. No cartoons for our babies to show how beautiful they are, right? Our Black babies, particularly our little Black girls. No encouragement for the little Black boys who are growing up without fathers. No, our little Black babies look to Disney and Mr. Rogers for that type of shit. Yeah, we have Lamar Burton for reading Rainbow. Shout out to him. But for the most part, and by the way, he did what, PBS? Reading Rainbow? That is a white-owned network. Why isn't LeVar Burton? Is it Lamar Burton or LeVar Burton? Let's see. Roots. Yeah, LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton should have been able to go on BET and make his own doggone program to encourage our babies. He should not have had to rely on PBS. And BET was sold many years later after Reading Rainbow was dropped. Why wasn't he on BET doing anything? Or was he? We're going to find out together. I know Wikipedia is not technically a credible website, y'all, but there's a lot of scholars that actually contribute to the website. And Wikipedia is really good at vetting that stuff. So we're going to, the information appears to be pretty legit. Feel free to correct me in the comments if we got anything wrong. But let's take a look. Did he ever do anything for BET? Let's see. Filmography. LeVar Burton filmography. I mean, Hustler for sure, yo. Here we go. Television. He did Reading Rainbow for 155 episodes, y'all. 83, 93, 2003. So he did Reading Rainbow for 23 years. He impacted basically 3 generations. Almost 3 generations. One of these days I'm going to let my sister talk about Get the hell out of town. He went on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So PBS, I'm pretty sure, was treating him well. But yeah, looks like he never was offered what he was deserving from BET. Let's see. One more thing I'm curious about, y'all. Reading Rainbow, PBS. Let's see who owns PBS. Pretty sure it's a white person, but let's confirm it. History. Hartford N. Gunn Jr. Well, there's not much about him, but I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to bet that he's a white man. I'm willing to bet. Let's see. Go. Yep. He's a white man. So they have all that opportunity, or he had all that opportunity to get positive reinforcements for our babies. But it's always been the white men giving that to us to a degree. And LeVar Burton wasn't just for white people. He was for all kids. But he should have been put on to BET to create something for our black babies. It just gives me pause, y'all. Because it's like it's not like these Nakers don't know how to build anything. Because this Naker proved that they can. They just don't want to. They don't want to build and keep building. Him selling BET to Viacom, which is a white-owned company, very telling. Very telling. It's a very impoverished mentality way of thinking. Even though he made, it's like $3 billion. He sold it for $3 billion, right? And then he had to give a big chunk of that to the white man, aka the government. That is, ran by the dominant race, right? And I think I read that he only is worth like 600 million right now. It's a lot of money, but it's his money. And he's not really, he's not continuously bringing in billions of dollars for his family like Disney is. And that's because he is impoverished. He has impoverished mentality. And the irony is Walt Disney, he didn't grow up rich. He didn't grow up rich. I'm not sure if he grew up. He just comes from a line of hustlers. That's just what the bottom line is. I don't think that they were poor. I don't think his family was poor, but Disney himself became poor. He became poor, hustling. And now his family is sitting on the ownership of television, y'all. Not cable TV, television. All those channels are owned by Viacom. Viacom is a huge owner. So it's like, and you know, the other thing too, y'all, is not only did he, like, you know, little black girls could have been told their kinky hair is gorgeous a long time ago. That their beautiful full lips are beautiful a long time ago. That their melanated skin is beautiful a long time ago. He could have bought, you know, why did Mattel have to create black Barbies? Why couldn't this guy, the owner of BET, invest in a black person to create a black dolls for little black girls? He had the pull. He had an opportunity to change the narrative of the beauty standard, y'all, for our little babies, so that they don't grow up hating themselves because of the things that they are seeing on Disney. He allowed Disney to continue because Disney continued. It wasn't until 2009 that they made Princess and the Frog, y'all. Disney's just like, fine. You nakers aren't going to build something. You aren't going to continue to sustain something for your people. I guess they can come here. And now representation is just coming to be on Disney. But once again, nakers are allowing the white man to influence their babies, when they had the opportunity to change the narrative for our babies. Maybe these nakers wouldn't be asking, would you rather have a dark skin or a light skin? Maybe they would fucking treat our baby girls better. But no, it's the white man. The white man has to change the narrative. You're not giving us any representation. You're not giving us any awards. That's why we have the BET Awards. Well, the BET Awards are overseen by white people. And what did BET become once it was sold to Viacom, by the way? Caricatures. A bunch of ghetto hood rat bullshit, reinforcing stereotypes. Because that's what makes them money. They don't give a shit about our feelings. The only color that matters to them is green. They don't give a shit about black people. And you can tell by their programming they don't. Nobody fucking watches BET anymore. No one watches BET anymore, y'all. This nigger had the opportunity to do something great with BET. But because he wanted to rest in his femininity and retire, he sold it to the white man. And then these niggers wonder why they become hashtags. Who's running the media, y'all? Who had the opportunity to change the narrative, y'all, and didn't? These niggers are full of shit. And since they depend on the white man to influence us, why aren't we keeping our options open, ladies? But that's all I got for y'all. Please comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see y'all on the next one. Thank you. Bye.
What is up, black people? How y'all doing? I want to let all you black women know you need to get a white man in your life.